everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm here trying to duck and dodge my children with the flu. So while I am a father, I am not a father. They take your contaminated ass away from me.
Hazmat suits.
Take this juice and take this soup. I'm gonna throw it in your room. Get out of my face.
He gonna buy the Robitussin. Drink
Right.
How much? Yes.
Yeah. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just take it. Don't come out until you feel better.
Sleep it off.
Yeah, sleep it off. But I'm hot. Keep them covers on.
Exactly.
Look, I gave you the soup already.
Well,
all right, Andre, how you doing, man?
I'm in high spirits. I look, life is getting funny to me, so I'm in high spirits.
I mean, hey, it can be at times from time to time. All right, people. So we are halfway through the month of March. Let's not forget, check the link in the description. The BiPOC Streamer Awards nominations are still live. So you got till the 31st to nominate your favorite content creator. So let's make sure that we do our part and nominate who we want to nominate. I got to do my nominations next week myself. So let's just make sure you click on the link in the description and go ahead and make sure we get those in for the BiPOC Streamer Awards. So what have I been playing? So I have been playing still some Xenoblade Chronicles X on my Wii U just to get myself, ready for this week. And I also been playing some Smash Brothers, went back into Ultimate a little bit because, reasons. Just felt like it.
These are reasons.
So, hey, sometimes you just need to throw somebody into a screen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just need to do that. With a hammer, with a giant mallet.
Hey, that's the best way to do it.
Sometimes you just have to do that. And I was what was I started back playing Battle Chasers Night War because I remembered I never finished it.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go back and finish games that I either forgot to finish or go ahead and finish. So
okay.
That's what I've been doing. Pretty much these last few days. What about you, Jack?
I've been all over the place. So I have continued on the Yokai Watch game I mentioned last week. I jumped into the Goemon 3. I think this is a longer title, so I'm just gonna shorten it up. But it's the third version of the Goemon games on the Super Nintendo, and it really, like, you can see kind of see the comparisons for the 64 version, because the 64 version was my very first Goemon game. So when I go back to play these Super Nintendo games, like, that was really the staple of, if you don't talk to everybody, you're lost. Like, granted, there is a fortune teller in the game that will tell you where you need to go, but you need to talk to everybody. Like, it's a different beast with that. But I am having fun with it, especially when you actually get going and it switches to the side-scrolling levels. It's a very interesting game, and to know that they've kept the same characters throughout the entirety of the genre at this point. So that's been pretty cool. I've also been playing I always forget this freaking name, Withering Waves. So I've been getting into that. Just trying to see if it can catch me, but honestly, it's such a drag to get into these games. I don't know if it's just, I don't like the aesthetics of it. I don't know. Like, they seem cool, but then I kick it off and then the story's going. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Like, I just want to, I want to get into the groove of things. So I'm trying to give it a shot. So we'll see. And then also I've always continued to play Hoopland and Retro Bowl football. And then I think I'm playing one more game. I forget what it's even called. I have it right here. Hold on, let me see. Dylan's Rolling Western.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been playing that too, because that was something I missed the sequel back when it initially came out. I played the original game, but I missed the sequel. I think I tapped out at 3DS at the time, because when 3DS was coming around, that was like the very start of my military career. So it was just a lot of bopping and moving all over the place. So 3DS, I really didn't get an opportunity to play for real. So I'm really going back and trying to get invested in what I did miss. And I think my next game I'm going to get back into or get into is Fire Emblem Awakening. So I think that'd be my first one, because I think I've only beaten 3 houses at all the Fire Emblem games. I've only beaten 3 houses.
That reminds me, I need to get that Koei Tecmo one. Three Hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that, and I still haven't played it.
Yeah,
I want and I haven't touched it, but I want them to come down on that damn price. But
yeah.
but
I don't know why they did it. Yeah. Well, there's some sales going on now, and that spring sale is coming up. So we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Look, they're gonna hit us with a sale right after they drop all that Switch 2 info.
Yep.
man,
No,
that's best on the clean up because I mean it's backwards compatible, so might as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I blame on that one. All right, Andre, what about you? What you been playing?
I've been playing Street Fighter 6. Still going through the world tour mode. I'm not rushing nothing. I get to the story. I get to the point where I know the story is going to transition chapters. I stop right there and do all the side quests I can do up to that point, and then move forward. Because unfortunately, your character has to be like 10 levels above everybody in order to be able to compete with them, which makes no sense to me. Like you think the levels would match up, but if somebody's on your level, they can do 2 to 3 times the damage to you. You sitting there bobbing, weaving, shucking, and jiving like you in a real boxing match, trying not to get knocked out in 2 hits. Even though I learned the cheat was to use Zangief's grabs that do like a 1/6 to a 1/3 of damage on people. So no matter what, yeah, his spinning pile driver and his running grab where he runs up on you because when he's running at you, he kind of armors up so you can take a hit and catch somebody. I love those moves because I be catching those characters. I know if I was playing with my avatar character online and somebody sees that character, they're not going to expect me to be rushing at them with a grab like Zangief grabs. They're going to expect the ones like what Luke has or like the rush up that Kimberly has. They're not going to expect you to go bear mode and go snatch them up and flip and slam them on their neck and stand on their arms like in Ultimate Muscle.
Good point.
Been playing that. I've also been playing House of the Dead remake. Part of me is like I want to play this with a light gun, and then I looked up the prices of light guns for PC. I was like,
boy, disgusting.
I will be playing with a mouse. I will be playing with a mouse. I will continue playing with a mouse. I can play very well with the mouse. I just want to be able to play with the light gun, but I will continue to play with the mouse.
I kind of miss light gun games.
Or I will dig out my Sega Saturn and hook it up with my 2 stunners and play that way. But no way in the world. Like I was like, the bottom tier for the good ones is 150.
Right.
Yeah.
And like to get 2 just for 2 people to be able to play, that's 300. I'm like, nah.
That's like I will give the Wii this. When they brought back light gun games for the Wii, I enjoyed that.
It's a lot of things that are arcade that we miss out on now.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to have standardized controls. Like when you have standardized controls for everything, that means you lose a lot.
Yeah. You do.
You take out a quarter of your creativity right there.
Yeah, because you don't have any other way to do stuff. Like I am not doing light gun games with a gamepad. I am not doing light gun games with gamepad. One, your cursor moves slow as all hell or fast as hell. There's no in between. Right. There's no subtlety to it. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I am glad that we at least got gyro in at least 2 of the consoles controllers, but
Nintendo and Sony.
Microsoft.
If they just added that, even where you could just turn it with the controller, that would be such an improvement over
what we got currently.
I'm just like,
I think they'll do it for the next one.
Maybe,
yeah.
They a little stubborn.
they are. They are. All right. So first things first on the agenda, we got to talk Microsoft because there's a new rumor out that they're going to have a handheld this year. Now, the funny thing about this handheld is that it's not going to play their console games. It's only going to play PC games. And the other part of that is it's basically a ROG Ally. That's basically what it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I get the idea behind it though. It's because you're going to use Game Pass and you'll be able to play your console games. You just won't be able to play them directly on it. You'll be streaming them just like you
stream. But the article I read they was like they don't know yet. They right now it's just basically your PC Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's
they-
if I'm just like this, if I'm putting out this machine and it's going to let you play your PC games directly on it, and PC can already do Game Pass and play your console versions of your games through Game Pass, I'm not going to exclude that from this machine. That would be not the brightest move. And they're trying to get everybody into the ecosystem. That would be a way to keep people out.
Yep.
Well, here's an update that I just saw on Pure Xbox, and it's basically saying that it is confirmed that Xbox has partnered with Asus for ROG Ally, and the price range that they're trying to go between is between $4.99 and $5.99.
Oh no!
But they did say that they need to take this with a grain of salt because right now they haven't released the specs, so they don't know if that's a true price range or not. That's them they're shooting for, basically.
So
and the first party Xbox stuff will come in the 2027 launch window. That's a year and a half after it's supposedly released. Because according to this, it's supposed to release in the latter half of this year. So I'm guessing Q3, Q4.
Mm-hmm.
Be holiday
right before
Q4.
Christmas.
Yeah.
So so this is what I've been saying is going to happen for quite some time. I don't have any sources, but the writing has been on the wall for quite some time. Now, the one thing that let me go this way. Price wise, while it sounds steep, it is the best setup, but I think it's going to be lower because Xbox is going to find a way to subsidize that, like Valve did with the Steam Deck. But if you look at least like Asus and like all the other companies, like MSI Claw and all of them, they couldn't do that. So theirs came out the gate $700-800 because like even the ROG Ally X is $800. So is so that's still on the kind of like the high end. So I think they'll be anywhere between like that three to seven. I know it's a wide range, but I think anywhere between 3 and 7 because they're going to have probably multiple SKUs. When we talk about storage and possibly RAM, because that's one of those key things that they like to throw out there too. Like if you just need less RAM, you can get it cheaper. As far as the games go, yeah, Game Pass is there, even though like PC and console Game Pass don't have the same games. And then cloud is there, which is it is what it is. I think Microsoft will be smart if you really want this to work. For anybody that has an Xbox and already has a digital library of some sort, you give them some form of a discount, paying for it on either the Xbox app or Steam, just to get them in there, because this is the route you're going to go moving forward. I don't foresee them continuing to do the standardized console moving forward. You need to get them into being comfortable with building out their PC libraries. They're not building an Xbox library anymore at this point in time. So you need to get them comfortable with, hey, this is called an Xbox. This is an Xbox handheld. The user interface, like that front end, may look like an Xbox, but you're buying PC games. Yeah, and I think essentially you need to get them. You need to get them comfortable, and the only way you're getting them comfortable is if you say, "Hey, look, we know you got like a pretty nasty like library over here. We can help you out a little bit. Now we don't help you out on everything, but we can help you out on some things." I think right now I feel like people look at it and say, okay, they're helping out in the sense that their first party games are on Game Pass day one. Like that's a benefit. But if I have any other third party games, if I'm Xbox, I'm trying my damnedest to find a way to get them to bring their libraries over to entice them to even purchase this. But it's really it really seems like it's going to be a closed off PC on both the handheld and the system front whenever they do choose to announce that.
Okay. They didn't say it's going to have a dock or anything like that. So that's
chances are it won't, because if you've already got your home console,
so you don't need it.
Yeah.
But
I do think Jack is onto something though. They'll probably, like the Xbox app that's on PC right now, that will probably be the front.
Yep.
They'll just build an OS completely around that and make that the front for it.
Which
makes the
that's what's
most
helping
sense.
for Steam right now. Like when the Steam Deck turns on, you're going directly into big picture mode.
Yep.
There is no you don't even know the desktop exists unless you got a reason why you're trying to go over there. Yeah.
You have to force it out.
So that's where they need to do it because it makes it easier. The key thing that a lot of people don't want to get into PC for is because there's a lot of tinkering. There's a lot of issues. Now, even though they have a nice front end, they got Game Pass and all the good stuff, they still need to take heed to what I said, which is something Valve still does not do. Make sure there is a profile for each one of these games for your console or for your handheld or whatever. I just played the Demon Turf demo that is on Steam right now. If you go into the video settings, there is a Steam Deck setting in that game. So there is no guesswork. Just go to the Steam Deck setting and bam, the game works fine. Like that's what they need to do. I don't care whatever else they do. If Asus is taking care of the hardware, the least you can do is take care of the software in the sense that you make this as friendly as possible to where all I got to do is say, okay, the same way there are controller templates on Steam for games that don't use controllers, do the same thing for games that I don't know how to tinker and I don't want to tinker with. If I want 60, tell me what's going to get me 60. Tell me what's going to get me 30.
There's an easy way to do that too. And it may require them working with NVIDIA to do it. Because NVIDIA, when you if you have any NVIDIA hardware and you open the GeForce app or whatever they call it now, I think it's just the NVIDIA app now, it will look up profiles for every game that you have installed.
Yep.
So as long as you have a game installed and you want it to, it will automatically set the game profile so that you to the best, the most optimal settings for your hardware.
Yep. That's what it should do.
So either they're going to have to partner with NVIDIA to figure something out, or if they're sticking with the AMD parts, they're going to have to work with AMD and get them to do something like that.
Which it shouldn't be hard for either one of them to do that.
It really shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but look, it takes initiative, and if you ain't got initiative, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, if this is the route you're going to go forward with, might as well start now. Like the same way you put that effort into making backwards compatible as great as it was, like reaching back all the way to the first console to make those games look better, run better, whatever the case may be. Do the same thing here. Like put forth that same initiative. Like if you want to purchase our handheld, if you want to purchase our next home console, we can give you these perks. Yeah, you can go build your big rig and do all the other good stuff. But if you get our device, you have a guarantee with, us giving support for it. Number one. Number two, you already know what you're getting when it comes down to the specs within inside of it. If you want to gut it, that's on you. Do your thing. But you already know what it is. And then three, we can come to you and say, look, there's nobody else out there that's going to give you a profile. You ain't got to go dig on nobody's website. You ain't got to go into nobody's forums. When you put on Wukong, if you put on Gears, if you put on Forza Horizon, all you got to do is say, all right, I want the 60 FPS profile, or I want the ray tracing profile, whatever the case may be. Select it and it'll tinker, do what it's got to do, and then bam, start your game.
Yeah,
it's that simple. Because I mean, honestly, when you go into like when the ROG Ally first came out, it was in Best Buy exclusively. And then whenever you went, the game they had loaded up was Forza Horizon 5. You did not have to tinker. That game ran 60 frames per second when you played it at Best Buy because they made sure they did what they needed to ensure that it was on the proper mode, the proper wattage, so it can run at 60 frames per second.
Yep.
Makes sense.
It's that simple.
This would be so much easier if they actually kept their first party. But yeah,
way easier.
It would be way easier if they did that. But I get what they're trying to do. I do understand it.
Look, the way they got it now is the only way they saving it.
That's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, because look, like even when people got mad about Game Pass, I'm like, dude, they doing what they got to stay alive.
Yep.
Y'all don't see that man back there with the glint in his eyes over his glasses shining, just waiting. He just waiting. rubbing his hands like, oh yeah, I'm ready.
Ooh, mess up
Oh,
again. Mess up
Mess
again.
up one more time.
Please
Come
let
on.
this.
Let Phil mess up. Let Phil mess up.
Let this investor meeting show y'all in the red. Please
this man got rid of the whole of Nokia. The whole
Fraud.
right after they bought him.
He don't care.
He don't give up. Boy, he don't like.
Look, he had already said he don't like exclusive games for
Yeah.
a console. He don't give a.
He don't care. I don't even think he care about game. I don't think he games. He's just like, I want to destroy it. I want to fire people. Please let me lay them off. Please.
He sees it as an opportunity to make some money. That's
pretty much it. I mean, bro. So like when people used to get mad, I'm like, bro, they doing what they got to. If they don't do this, they've been in the red for so long. I'm like, if they don't think of something, bro, they gone. Everybody saw what they did with Nokia as soon as they bought them. Like, how you buy people like, okay, cool.
Got the whole company.
Cool. We still got our job. And we're under $1 trillion company. We're gonna be set.
What was it like? What, a month later?
No, it was 2 weeks later. The first round was 2 weeks later.
I knew it wasn't that long.
It was like, because even me, I was sitting there, I was reading about it. I'm like, wait a minute, 2 weeks? And I thought it was like maybe Nokia was getting rid of people and they just talked about it. No. That was Microsoft.
and for people that's wondering, it wasn't just employees that would create redundancies. They have redundant positions. It was just a whole swath of people.
He was just like, you know what? Y'all testing my gangster. Oh, y'all get
even though I believe at the time Nokia was making money too, so it wouldn't make any sense.
That was the other part that didn't make any sense. The other part of it was like, it would make sense if they weren't profitable. They were profitable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think they just wanted like 6 or 7 of their patents, got them mugs, and y'all out.
Yep.
Bye.
And people keep thinking that's why Microsoft ended up with Bethesda. Bethesda was part of ZeniMax.
Yeah.
Microsoft bought ZeniMax.
They didn't buy Bethesda. Like, that was the funniest thing in the world when people were like, they bought Bethesda, but no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Oh, Flare Ice, I can tell you straight up, if the Xbox One was successful and made money, we would not have Game Pass.
No. We wouldn't. No.
Mm-mm.
And if we did get Game Pass, it wouldn't be as big as it is. It'd strictly be a small trial rental service.
Oh yeah, they would have been spoon feeding it for sure.
Yep. That's pretty much what that is, yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but that's the truth. I mean, they had to put the mic behind it.
Yeah.
They had to. So that's just, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I had Game Pass for a while, but with my current job, I just don't have time. So I was like, there's no way for me. There's no point in me keeping it because I don't have time. Now, if I had kids, I'd probably still have it. Just so look, y'all can just play because I ain't buying y'all 15 games this month. Y'all that ain't happening. So
yeah,
hey, like, look,
Game Pass y'all can rent.
That $20 a month look real attractive when you got 50 different games coming out.
Yeah. That was saying. So
it really do. But then you start getting to the like, well, what am I gonna play? Because it's just too much in your face sometimes. Yeah. I'm just like, all right.
And because we're gonna get to it this week. There's 3 big games coming this week. Just in this week alone. We ain't even talking about April. Y'all know it's dropping in April. There's like 5
April
games.
is information month.
Yeah, there's like 5 major games dropping in April within 3 weeks of each other. Like. There ain't no way if I had kids, I'd be like, nah, man, we're gonna have this Game Pass. Y'all can play whatever. Y'all play that. That's all I do.
And I think people underestimate that's probably where the majority of the money is coming from, is from parents. Because they don't want to have to pay and go out and buy a bunch of different games. They don't want to spend money on specific accounts and stuff like that. They're just like, look, we're gonna get one Game Pass subscription. Y'all gonna play on this one system together. Or you want to take turns.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear nothing else.
Do not ask me to go get you a new hard drive or whatever that thing is in there that's called. Delete a game and download another one.
Yeah. If you want that, you better go start cutting some yards.
Right.
You want this stuff, you better start making some money to get it yourself.
Yeah. So pretty much that's about how that
Teenage me took up that challenge too. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so the other thing I want to talk about, we're sticking with Microsoft because I have trust issues. And my trust issues, especially with one of my favorite gaming franchises, is I like Halo. I like the Halo franchise. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Ever since Bungie left, it ain't been good.
It hasn't been. No.
So
it's been on the decline.
Yeah. So now 343 says they've been doing the rounds. So don't worry about it. The next Halo game is gonna be legendary. I got trust issues.
Look, just shut up. Look, if you really want to prove something, just make a good game and put it out. Don't say a word.
That's all you gotta do.
Don't say nothing.
Pull a Nintendo. Make a good game. Drop the game and just let people talk about it. Don't say nothing until release date. Just drop it.
Matter of fact, just shadow drop it.
That's it. Release or look, put out a video release date and call it that. Don't talk about how good it is. Don't talk about how great it is. Like no, don't do.
Just let it be.
Don't talk about how good the multiplayer is. Just build the game. Make sure the game is fun.
Don't promise nothing.
Get some new playtesters because whoever's playtesting for y'all is leaving y'all. Right.
Yeah.
Get new playtesters. Get playtesters that actually care about game design, not just the ones wanting to collect a paycheck.
Right.
Or even better, stop allowing fans that purchase the game to be your playtesters. Actually, pay really good playtesters for it.
Yeah, because there are people who actually do playtest work. So
I am looking for playtest jobs if you guys have them.
And
I do playtesting,
and that's the thing because I'm sitting out because I go back and I think because like another one of my favorite gaming franchises is Metroid. Metro don't even have a game on every generation.
No.
And now I will say this: it doesn't sell like hotcakes, but it's the games are awesome when you play them.
Right.
That's why I'm sitting up here. I love the fact that we're getting Metroid Prime 4 at some point. But I always laugh about Metroid Dread because we had all them people talking all that mess about how they just want a Metroid and just give us one and they got one. This game hard.
How you find the easiest Metroid to be the hardest?
The hardest. I don't understand.
No way, bro. That game walk you through everything.
And then we had the greatest of all time, David Jack.
Oh yeah. Like I said,
so much so to where, bro, Nintendo was in petty mode, full petty mode for like a year and a half because of him.
Nah, they still in petty mode. Look,
hey, bro,
they might not be
the
target. You might not be the target, but they still in petty mode.
You consider yourself a gamer and you pull this stunt, like all right.
Well, hey, at least with David Jaffe, he actually played the games. Now we can't say the same for Elon Musk.
Yeah, we can't say the same for that. Yeah, but that's one thing. Like I see
it's about Elon being a fake gamer.
Yeah, but
I mean, look, if you gonna pay somebody to play the game for you, just tell everybody. Nobody,
just tell them.
The problem is you sitting there trying like you know what you're doing when you don't.
But like my situation with like Halo was basically like do what Metroid does. They make the game and they show you that it works. Stop promising stuff and then coming back a year later. Yeah, we can't do that.
We gotta take that out.
Yeah, local co-op.
Like that's been the thing for Halo since its inception.
And you can't do it on the world's most powerful system. Are you out of your mind? So I'm sitting here like, look, man, just stop bragging. And because y'all are 343 is the reason why I have trust issues. That and that show. But the show, that's a whole nother story. Season 2 was way better than season 1, but that's still a whole nother story. But yeah, I do not believe them when they say that. I just want them to like please be quiet. And just make the game.
Quiet, make a good game, please.
I think that goes for all of their franchises at this point. Because I mean, I think all of them except for Forza have really taken a dip. So do you really got to get the claim to fame back for Gears?
Yes, I didn't play 5.
Halo.
I didn't play Gears 5.
5 was good. 5 was good.
Even
Hive Busters was actually pretty good too. But yeah, but the thing is, like, even though we know they made a whole bunch of acquisitions, it's like all I know is Gears, Halo, and Forza. Like I don't think about Bethesda's games.
You don't want to play Everwild?
Do you know what Everwild is? I don't.
The developers don't either.
Everwild is a slowly panned in rare logo in smoke.
We don't look. We gonna show off a splash screen and a logo. We don't know what it is yet.
But that's
available
bold.
for your home in 1995, only from.
But that's bold. You don't. It's one thing for you to show up and say, okay, we just got a splash screen. There's another thing to show up and say, hey, this is all CGI. But it's another thing to show up and say, we don't know what this is. What?
And say it with your whole chest. That's
whole chest.
whole
Confidence.
This is just
beautiful
hilarious.
game and engine, and we don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, man. It's
Like we got top quality stuff, but we don't know what it's gonna be, and we ain't gonna tell you nothing for years after we
Yeah,
we don't know nothing.
We don't even know if the doggone game has been canceled or not.
Look, it's going to show up. It's going to show up. It's going to show up in some of the games, and still not going to know what it is. It's just going to be random bits and pieces. It's going to look like No Man's Sky. I bet you.
But it sounds like they was like, you know what would be great if we did game development backwards. With the name of the game, and then we're gonna build the engine out, and we're gonna build the game, and then we're gonna come up with everything inside of it. Like, no, don't. Like,
you need a concept to work with so that you know that the engine will be able to do what you need it to do. You don't build the engine and then apply the concept.
Well, apparently that's what Monster Hunter Wilds did, but it is what it is. This is what we're doing now. We're making the game and saying, who can fit this? Like, no, that's not how that works.
They made an elevator pitch to the publisher public, basically. That's what just happened.
Yeah.
That's supposed to happen behind closed doors before you're granted money to make the game.
Goodness.
Trinell, at this point, I honestly think that Perfect Dark is probably going to go multi-plat at launch.
It's probably going to.
And that's probably what's happening. Because I thought we were supposed to find out something by now, because the way they made it seem last summer that they were progressing smoothly. That's what they made it seem like. So I
think they also heard they heard a lot of people's responses to it.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be tough as a developer though, like because everything you showcase, you just hear the murmurs of like,
the problem is they're having the same issue that what was Valhalla had when it came down to Devil's Third. You're listening to the crowd.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the crowd when you have not finished the product. Finish the product, then worry about the crowd.
Yeah, because most of the people, especially in today's era of social media, people just leech on whatever's negative, so they can drop their negativity on top of it, even if they don't own the console or any of the games.
Yep, it's a trend.
So
I gotta be a part of the conversation,
even though I ain't never played it. I don't own it because we ran into this issue when Xenoblade Chronicles X first released. There were people claiming they played it, and it's clear they didn't.
There's people still doing that.
Yeah,
still doing this.
It was clear that they never did because I know I would tell them stuff. I'd be like, dude, all you gotta do is go on Miiverse. They'll show you how to get the stuff. Like they were showing you where stuff was at. That's
just
why
last week somebody told me that the world was empty.
In Xenoblade Chronicles X?
I'm telling you.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
What?
Year of our Lord,
you ain't never touched that. You ain't never touched that
when
game.
I tell you,
you ain't never touched that game.
These damn clips. I say gaming and sports have the same issue right now. People watching damn highlight clips and thinking they know the ins and outs.
I read the clip notes. No, play the game, bro.
Clip of somebody jumping off of a cliff.
Right. Like, oh, there was nothing in that world when he jumped
all
off.
they did was jump off a cliff, and they ended it right there because you didn't get to see all the monsters that swarmed them when they hit the ground.
Yeah, because like the thing about Xenoblade Chronicles, if they're talking about there's nothing in there, like as far as people are concerned, okay, fine, but you got jumped by a pack of doggone.
But the whole premise,
wolf dinosaur thing.
The whole premise behind Xenoblade Chronicles X, though, is that you are trying to find people. You're searching for people, so it would make sense you don't see a lot of people other than when you're in the city.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're seeing them everywhere out and about. That means everybody's fine. You don't have a mission.
Yeah. And the world is untamed. So like if you sitting up here talking about there ain't nothing, keep walking. I'm pretty sure you're about to run into a titan.
Yeah. You don't have to go far to.
You don't have to. Yeah. So
within the first hour of playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, you can get murked by a level 100 monster.
Yeah.
Very
You passed 3 of them going to the double.
Very much
You
so.
passed 3 of them.
Look, I remember when I saw that bridge, I was like, man, them things on that bridge. I don't want to go. I'm taking them all.
Like,
Jump off the bridge.
Because you walk past the big brontosaurus looking thing that's a level 92. You walk past him. Thankfully, that mug don't want to kill you. Then it's another one on the other side. And let's not forget our good buddy Rothbart. Level 81. That's not
right there, staring at you.
Just
like,
looking at you like, please come over here.
Move.
Please come over here. Please.
Like,
Please.
Come this way. Come this way.
Bring the behind, boy. Bring the behind.
I'm like, bro, I'm only at level 3. I ain't going nowhere near you.
No way. I'm talking about he's like sitting on the top of this little like mouth, just looking at you,
Just staring.
Yeah, come on. I've been wanting to slap something today.
The funny thing is,
Come on.
I think if you keep the camera on while you're moving, he is looking at you.
Yeah, he's looking at you.
Yeah,
he's looking at you. Because the problem is, it's tempting to go fight because there's like a couple of level 14s around him that you can get. The problem is he's on top of the thing.
Don't make that mistake. He'll jump right down there.
Yeah. I'm talking about slap the taste out your mouth.
No qualms. Just jump right down there, smack you across the field.
And then you have to be careful because if you run from him, if you keep running too far, there's a giant cicada under the ground that's gonna come up. That's a level 35 titan. Good luck. So yeah, I have a feeling on Thursday there's going to be a lot of people complaining on Friday.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be Metroid Dread all over again. It's going to be Metroid Dread all over again. I swear. What's up, Sandstorm, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Hey, your mic working.
I this time I made sure before I even got in here. I was like, make sure that mic is right.
He's like, you ain't catching me. You ain't catching me slipping again.
You gonna catch me lacking.
Not this time.
All right, so since we already know we got a heavy week this week, what other games are we looking forward to that's gonna pretty much destroy our checking accounts?
It's just that one for me, sir. I'm sorry.
Else. Once I'm on that, that's it.
Because my thing is this is what I know. Because watch, this is what's gonna happen. You'll go into this week, 20th hits, you get Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yep.
The following week, on the 2nd, Nintendo's going to drop a load. That's gonna be the nastiest direct. Like they realize they haven't even put like a time restriction on it yet. Like they just told you when it was starting, so they didn't even told you. Just 30, 40 minutes.
It's gonna be all day.
It's gonna be
all day.
Right. So
it's gonna be about 2
these.
hours. This wasn't the original info dump almost like an hour and a half?
It was an hour, but there was a Treehouse Live after that.
Yeah, which together it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, just about an hour and a half. So yeah.
So they did that at night.
So there's no way I'm going into next week with the intent of like, oh, I'm gonna just get multiple games. Nah. Like I'm getting this one game, I'm sitting back, and then we're getting ready to not only have a direct, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be Treehouse Lives right after that. Because to me, you keep that momentum. You say, all right, cool, I showcased it to you. Now we got Treehouse Live to kind of give you the ins and outs of like what the system really does. Because that's like they don't have to go into like full explanation because we know what the Switch does. But for the ones that like to play stupid, like, hey, these are the new things to let you know that this is a different console. Yes, it's a different console. It's not an add-on. It's just a different console to where, like, yes, here is, Mario Kart 9. And then while those of you that want to play Xenoblade Chronicles, you can. And this is what it looks like on the Switch too. And
has that ancestor been banned from all Nintendo events yet?
Not yet.
That would be so funny to watch him like try and get in with like Hey, is that himself? No, guys, wait, no.
Well, he said it to us. He says he's not a gamer, so I don't know why he would even want to show up.
This is one of them things that make me wish I had Nightcrawler's teleportation ability and a Billy Club. Just teleport out.
Something smells like brimstone in here.
Hey, you smell a little warm in here to you? Oh my God, what happened to Adam?
Why am I being treated like this? I just pretended that the console that I have been rumoring about for the past 3 months, it wasn't a console. That's all I did. I just pretended. It's okay.
Black puff cloud of smoke pop up. You hear a smashing sound, and then it pop up again.
Right.
And you just see him folded in the corner like Yamcha.
You can't make that up though. So for those that are not following, in 2011 all the way up until it was late 2010 all the way up to 2011. All you heard was Project Cafe, Project Cafe,
which is a console.
It can broadcast, it can stream to multiple screens, not just one, multiple screens. That was the rumor, and they kept talking about this all the way up until May before E3. Then Nintendo shows you that thing that you were talking about almost exactly, and they show you one screen, and now you don't know what it is.
They pretended. They got their marching orders, and they pretended like they didn't know.
And just so you know, every member of press was regurgitating these exact same rumors, and they were pretty accurate.
And you can look up the Project Cafe rumors right now.
Yeah.
You can look them up, and you can even look up
people.
You can even look up people making builds of the machine prior to its launch.
Like before that, even before Project Cafe, it was called Nintendo Stream. So they had already known internally that's what it was going to be doing. So I don't
This is going to be funny simply because like we already know that that Nintendo, as far as trust issues are concerned, Nintendo has trust issues with the entirety of the Western gaming ecosystem. So they're not giving them nothing. So they're gonna find out when we find out. And
you know what's
I love that.
You know what's so wild about this this event is I think we've said it a few times on the channel, is that like I don't ever recall in history like people waiting this hard for like what's coming next for a console period. But like from Nintendo, and it's almost to the point where like, what time does the show start? It starts at 9:00, right?
9:00
Yeah. So it almost feels like an hour before it's gonna be like a whole runway car, like oh, here comes the latest stars. They're in here today. They're in here today.
There's Mario. There's Mario. Zelda.
Wait a minute. Can we get a few words, please? A few words.
And here's Jack Black.
Right. The voice of Bowser. Sing the song for us, Jack. Sing the song for us. Like it feels like that kind of like level of event. And is wild to me that so many people are just like, it's like the world's impulse. Like, hey, listen, like there's a few games that are coming out, but everybody else is like, we ain't saying nothing.
No.
I'm trying really hard not to buy Nvidia stock right now. I'm trying really hard. And it's low right now too because of what's going on. So
man,
it's gonna be.
Dark Void, yes, we will be live streaming because I'm going to be off that day because I got something to do at 11:00. So we will be live streaming that direct. So
I will be sick that day.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh yeah, me too. Well, no. I have to take care of my kids. I have to take care of my kids that day.
There you go. Yeah,
and the next day too.
Well, to piggyback on what you were saying, Sandstorm, it really is a testament of like where gaming is right now. Like, no matter if you dislike Nintendo for whatever reason, you feel like they're too kiddie or they're not your taste, whatever the case is, like you're looking to see what they're doing because you're bored with what you're playing. Like you're getting tired of the same stuff coming out, or your favorite company or developer has been let go. Like they don't exist anymore.
Are they
The
willing
games-
to admit that, Jack?
No,
No. They're gonna sit back and just accept this. They're not gonna say it.
they're gonna watch it. They're gonna watch
They're
the
gonna
whole
watch it.
thing. They're gonna watch the whole thing.
And then like, it was okay. It wasn't the great.
and they're gonna hate it. They're gonna hate on it the whole time. They're gonna say as soon as that thing is over with, 2 days later, there's gonna be about 5 articles are gonna be saying we need to switch to Pro.
Yep. That's how they always operate. But it's but it's one of those things to where Nintendo has an opportunity. If everything is to be believed, this is going to be a disgusting blowout from both the first party and the third party standpoint. Like, if there's ever been a idea of somebody blowing a load a little too early, this is an opportunity for them to do that, because you can essentially come out and say, all right, it comes out, let's just for shits and giggles, it comes out in May, so we gonna give y'all a month's head up. Like, you got a month to get your money together. Go trade in what you gonna trade in, because we coming out, because we gotta let other things breathe. Like we got so much support this time around, we got to give people room to breathe. And so we just gotta let it go. We have an opportunity to, like, third party, go ahead and eat, get what you're gonna get. People that you didn't release on the Switch, so re-release over here, so you can kind of get your shillings and double dip over on this side.
Take them daggone cloud versions and make them actual.
Yeah, definitely. Like, because this is the time for you to make up for what you did wrong. Because when we talk about Capcom, like you have an opportunity to bring those games and make them official versions and make them look and run great. Like, you have that opportunity
with no excuses.
Ain't not a reason you can't, because y'all work on NVIDIA hardware on a regular basis.
Well, my whole problem with Capcom is just like with Koei Tecmo, just like with Bandai Namco. Y'all worked on Smash. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear y'all don't know how to do this.
Y'all was right with them. Yeah. Y'all was right there.
And Nightwolf, I think they are. I don't think that they will ever trust fully third party ever again.
They're not gonna give them. They're not gonna give them the whole floor. They'll give them part of it.
But the only other thing too that I see is going to be a problem, and that's these 3, 4, 5 year late ports, and then they get they're gonna get mad when people don't buy it. I'm like, yeah, because I already have an Xbox Series X. I bought it at launch. Why would I buy it now? Why would I buy it again now?
Especially if you didn't add anything to it.
You're not adding
the same game all
like,
over.
If, for example, I'm just gonna use that example. Soul Calibur 6. If Bandai Namco says, okay, Soul Calibur 6 for Switch 2 at launch, but there ain't nothing added to it, like no Ganondorf, no Zelda, no Marth, no Roy, no Link. Why would I buy that?
Yeah. And that was
why would I buy it?
Because the first thing that came to my mind with that was like the whole Mass Effect situation with the Wii U. Like, yeah, cool. You came and you gave us 3. Mass Effect. You gave us 3, but then you released the trilogy on the other consoles for cheaper. So it's like, why? Why would I do that? And that was the same argument we made with the Wii U. Is like, you can't come and give us bad ports and then get mad we don't buy them. So now with
that's
this
why Nintendo won't trust them.
Right. So it's like, this time around, if you're going to come back and give me Control Definitive Edition, you need to give me Control Definitive Edition. Like, I need to have a reason.
Super Definitive Edition.
Because you can't just throw Portable on it anymore, because I would give one good reason is because now we do have ROG Allies. We do have Steam Decks. Those now have the portable factors now. So you got to give me a reason to pick that up again.
I better have a I know y'all gonna hate me for this one, but I better have a like Bayonetta, but have a Princess Peach and Princess Daisy version of
give me something.
Give me something.
And even if you can't add on more to the game, compensate me on price. Like, granted, the way you're looking at it is, Nintendo fans didn't get a chance. You can't think like that. Everybody cast out their net very wide now. So I've probably already played your game, but now, like I said, for me, I'm trying to have everything in one house. So if I want to pick up Control and not play it on Game Pass or not play it on my ROG Ally, give it to me for $40. Like, the game that made us money. Like, don't get over here trying to get greedy. Like just do that and call it a day, and people will buy it.
But the thing they also got to think about is that a lot of people either have a PC and a Switch already, or they have something and a Switch.
Right.
They have a PS5 and a Switch, Xbox and a Switch, PC and a Switch.
Right.
why would you assume that they don't have a way to access it before? And maybe some people just want to have, physical copies. They just want to be able to have a physical copy. And if it's on there and it has a physical copy that plays right off the media, they'll probably want to be able to have that. Like, the idea is to try to screw everybody over needs to stop.
Yeah.
So, not to change so there, but I sent a link in the chat, Jay. I think the biggest problem though is they're trying to do it again because they're doing this thing where they're pretending Nintendo doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they like I already saw the article, but then they decided they're trying to recycle a short on this now, and I'm like, why are you doing this thing? And so people in the comments of the video are saying that it's a Microsoft thing, and they're trying to use it to downplay that Sony's beating them in the console race or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's not just that, because I looked at one specific part of that video. I freeze framed because I was pretty sure. I'm like, they're lying, because they said, hey, if you look at the top 10 games or whatever that are selling the most or whatever, they're all mobile games. But I noticed the wording of the 2010s. Yeah, why do you need to go back to the 2010s to see what the top games were, to see that they were mobile games? Because if you go past the 2010s, it's all Nintendo.
Right.
Literally all Nintendo in the top 10, because you're talking about games selling 20, 30 million copies. Crazy. And generating a whole bunch of revenue. And so they had to go back to the 2010s to make that their point, to talk about how you need to focus on mobile games and PC. And they're saying PC gamers are gaining steam. Well, we need numbers. We need numbers.
They can't provide that because it's not.
There's too many different ways to purchase games. PC.
There's billions of PCs out there, right? And there's so many active gamers or whatever, right? How many active gamers are there compared to these dedicated consoles that are repeatedly going in and buying games at the same MSRP, for these quote unquote AAA titles, right? They should be pretty much same. Like, you should be able to look on there and see that, hey, Call of Duty came out and it's like literally 1-to-1 with PlayStation or 1-to-1 with Xbox or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that's not the case. They kind of wait, or they go on CD Keys and get what they need.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You got sites like CD Keys, Green Man Gaming, Fanatical, and look, people looking for discounts. They just run right to Steam's store page and pay full price when you can go somewhere else and get it for $20 cheaper, and then transfer it in with a code.
Or you can just wait a couple weeks so that spring sale finna drop, and these games finna have.
Yeah,
they finna do that. Like, that's
wait till the Steam sale in the summer.
That IGN article, they still ain't learned their lesson. So look, I get it. You got to get your clicks in because you're not making money. I completely understand. But at the same rate, y'all, what happened to y'all?
They're not the go-to source anymore. I think really this push for podcasting and YouTube really put a dent in a lot of the gaming channels, and it's not because the content is just better. It's just you continue to spew the same BS for so long. You pushed everybody into a different option. Like, I'm willing to listen to somebody else instead of you, even though, like I said, there were some shows that I liked with IGN, and
most of them people left.
But they left.
Yeah.
So then when you get on there and you keep hearing the same narrative over and over and over, I'm like, okay, I'm burnt out.
New people, same story.
Same story.
I'll say this with them, right? And is it podcasting? Yes, but I think the initial Achilles heel was exclusivity with E3 content, because that used to be their moneymaker every year. They go out to E3 and they know they can go back and, hey, on our website we got exclusive content with this, blah blah blah. Subscribe to us so we can get you blah blah blah. That's how they made the majority of their money was direct subscribers, and then they work deals with publishers or whatever to buy ads on a page.
Yeah,
because the whole point is, say, look at our subscriber base, so give us ads on the site so we can make even more money, and that's how they work with publishers to do that thing. Well, when that went away, starting with Nintendo, they're like, hey, we're out. Also, we'll just put it on the website so everybody to see. that put a big
But
deal.
it was they did
That's their
that,
fault though.
Yeah, they caused that
They
because
turned them into it went from journalism being a real job
Yeah.
to being
Well-
just people giving out their opinions.
well,
Yeah, there you go.
the way they got around that was they started hiring a lot of freelancers, aka
Freelancers.
bloggers,
Yep.
because they didn't have enough people. Because
They couldn't
if
pay.
you
people.
go into journalism, there's an oath you have to take. Like when
Yep.
you in
Give
law,
credit
and when you in
Hippocratic
law,
oath.
you have to take that oath, and
Mhm.
that's why, like, you know. But the other thing too, along with that as well, we started getting so many more games a month. There's no
Mhm.
way to. There is no way. There's I don't care what company you got. There's literally no way to cover all these games and play them to completion and review them and do
Yep.
what you have to properly. There's no way.
Which
Mhm.
I say to that,
So,
that in itself gives you an avenue, because now you can go the route of like, oh, this is a stamp of certification. We reviewed this game because this is a solid game. You know, any game we review, because there's so many of them, you know, it's a good game.
But
yeah,
then
we
again,
didn't review.
but everybody can't do that. Like
True.
Yeah.
But they had the ability to, and now they don't. Like now, everybody's expecting them to give a bad score to the point where
So-
if you see a IGN review, just go down probably like 2 comments, and it's like, don't waste your time. It's a 7 out of 10. Like it's just you don't even care about what they have to say.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. So
I would say the other thing about that is too, there was a solution to that, and that would be everybody have their own audience. So
True.
hey, we're reviewing a couple of games over here. We're really reviewing them and digging them in, and this is our score. We can't get to these other games, but there's other sites that might be our competitors that also do that, and they have their own little niche, and they have their reviews or whatever, you know. And it could be across different genres, and then they, you know, they just have so many games they review a year, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to this site to get a look at, you know, how you can review stuff and all that, right? But the other side of that is publishers want their game seen up front.
Right.
So, and if the publishers are buying the ads, then Snowball as a company has to do what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, man. I hate it. Money drives everything.
But the crazy part about it is, like, when we started getting to developers saying, hey, we're not relieving the embargo until after the game releases, I'm like, I'm not reviewing your game at that point, dude, because I got to set a standard here, because people want to hear these reviews, because like you said, Jay, right, like you said, there's a lot of games out here, and I have only so much money, and while a game can look interesting because you know how to put a trailer together, I don't want to purchase everything. So if I can go to IGN and I know that they may not review everything, but what they do review is solid, then that's what I would go to. Because I mean, they already don't review everything because there's way too many games for that. But if I'm saying, okay, I got an indie team, an RPG team, a sports team, whatever the case may be, and I know that's the team I can go to, then I'm good with that. But right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. And like I said, if you got developers making it worse by saying, like, hold off until the game gets his first day sales, screw you, dude, because I already know something wrong with it. Just no. Like, no. How about
those embargoes? That's why the Gertzman Gate thing happened. Because if you can't stop that train from rolling, and Jeff Gertzman at that point in time, he gave 0 fucks. So he's like, this game is bad. I don't care how good the first one was. I don't care how much money they're pitching to my publisher, right? As me, this game is bad. I'm trashing it, and that's it, right? And the publisher is like, well, I'm gonna call the manager. And they pull that whole Karen situation. And
I mean,
that's how much leverage they have.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you got, like, dude. I mean, Sony did that a lot, because like when I was active on IGN, you could tell. They would edit reviews. Yeah, that's why I was like, when I left, when Rich and Audrey left. When Rich and Audrey left, that was the last 2 people I trusted, because Greg and Colin and Damien got caught by a developer lying on a review, and didn't want to apologize till he found out that was the actual developer. He thought it was just some random dude. And it wasn't.
Oh yeah, because he was playing easy mode on the game and didn't get the true ending.
Yeah,
got mad.
Yeah, so like it was like, okay, you got all these people. These are people you push in front of the camera, and they wild and they are biased as hell. They only want to play one thing. Why are you having Greg Miller play Zombie U if you know all he likes is Sony? Don't even do that. Like, bro, stay in your lane.
Right.
You and Collins stay over there. Don't come over here. You stay over there. But they wouldn't do that.
Because it felt like that's not. But it felt like that was what they were doing initially. Because when they started putting these individual podcasts together, like with MVC and things like that, it felt that way. And then when because like I saw Brian,
all you had to do was watch Game Scoop, and then you'll find out what was really going on.
Yeah,
right.
Because they created those basically as an excuse. They're like, hey, we got this Nintendo focus, we got an Xbox focus, blah blah blah. And then on Game Scoop, they just tell you what their bias is outright. And they just literally sitting there and discussing and talking. But they had to cull a lot of the podcasts off the page and then re-upload parts of them.
Well,
there's articles. Every article in 2013 and 2012 has been edited. Why do you think that is?
Wow. Well, the other thing too is you got to remember they got called out to their face.
Yeah,
and when they got called out to their face, they had to have a 2-hour podcast about why they got called out to their face. That video don't exist, by the way, no more.
Yeah,
you can find it if you look. It's just
you can find it, but it's not on their channel.
No,
it's not on their
It's somebody else that recorded it or whatever.
Same
thing with G4
or
too.
Just downloaded it.
Yeah. So I mean, I used to love IGN back from like 97 to like 2006. I used to love IGN.
The bad thing is they made their bread and butter on reviewing Nintendo at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were
and also I do think that the E3 situation, when E3 opened up to the public, before it wasn't open to the public. It wasn't. So that's how they was able to get all that stuff they were getting exclusive. But once they opened it to the public, dude, it was game set match.
Yeah.
At that point. So and then when you constantly piss off a nice person, especially if that nice person is petty,
they cut you off.
You're gonna get
it in the worst way,
and they gonna destroy you, Iwata.
He did the whole industry.
Everybody said he was nice. Everybody said he was nice. He was good to get along with everything. They kept pissing him off.
And he made like the nicest statement. He said, there are certain people that think our platform isn't capable of things that other platforms are. So it is in our best interest to show that platform is capable through the games. And from here on, we will directly show customers what our developers are capable. And when he said that was it. There's no more interviews. There's no more. That's it.
And Treehouse Live killed it for E3 because at that point, because what were we saying? Like, man, I'm tired of watching CG trailers. Hey, y'all can come over here because day 2 through 5, days 2 through 5, we're gonna have a 30-minute Treehouse Live around from like 11 to 6. So just come through. Rotating games. People gonna be playing and doing the interview. We have two people talking and explaining what you're seeing, why you're seeing gameplay, not a CGI trailer, gameplay.
Yeah,
and not the person that built the game present
either.
Yeah. Dude, that's why I bought Astral Chain.
Yeah.
They showed that was an hour. Astral Chain, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and what was the other game that came out? Daemon X Machina. Them three. That's why I bought them.
Oh God, that was so good.
Because they the Astral Chain and Daemon X Machina was an hour long. They went 30 minutes. It was an hour long Treehouse Lives, bruh.
Yeah.
At that point,
because before then it was Gaming Press they were doing really bad translations, or even if they'll talk good in front of them and then go back behind in like a podcast or something to do an editorial bashing everything that was going on.
Because I remember that happened with Bayonetta.
Yeah,
with Bayonetta 2 actually. And that's another reason why I got mad because they bashed Bayonetta and like we didn't say that.
Wow.
He's like, all right, bet. He's like, all right, bet. At that point, I'm like, dude, y'all done.
Or there were the misappropriations of quotes saying one person said something that another person said and then completely changing the context of the thing that was said.
Right.
Like with Platinum and Star Fox Zero, where you had a young developer from Nintendo say, man, this work pace was a little intense. It was a little fast. I wasn't used to it. Apply that to a developer from Platinum and then make it sound like they're talking about Miyamoto in a
And
negative
that-
light.
Mhm.
You go to the source article, go through the interview, and then you find out, oh, a Nintendo developer said this because he's not used to the pace. The development pace was fast for him. He
Mhm.
wasn't ready for it, and he was getting adjusted to it. That's all he said.
I mean, in same context, which I've talked about, but Shadow has talked about a gajillion and one times, is that the whole CPU thing with the Wii U and the talks about how it was anemic and not capable.
Which wasn't even true.
All the while, the setup was set up for the future, right?
Yeah.
The future setup.
Heterogeneous compute.
Yeah. And how just the industry played like they didn't know what they were talking about until Sony and Microsoft came around.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, we get it. It's media for us.
Sony,
Because
Microsoft.
now you got trash tablet Jaguar CPUs, and they can't really do that much either. So you do everything on the GPU, and now magically we know how to do it.
Here's the thing, though: Microsoft and Sony do it; they know how to use it, but Nintendo does it; they don't.
Yeah, right.
Which doesn't make any sense. But then people were getting mad at like Harada and Kamiya and Anaba when they were sitting there saying, "No, man, the Wii U's actually easy to work with," but they listen to anonymous EA senior developer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then a senior EA developer who only made the online portion, the online database for a sports game, and never worked on a Nintendo product ever.
Yeah. And that was the person, because I will never forget the guy that was working for THQ, and when THQ went under, he had to start his own company. He admitted on a blog that I didn't have the Wii U kit. I was just repeating what others had told me, but now that I have one, this is easy to work with. This does everything I need. I'm like, you didn't say that when you got interviewed by IGN and Game Trailers. You didn't say that. And of course, now that you're working on your own company, they ain't going to interview you now. They're not. So you saying this on a blog post, bro, the damage is already done, dude. You can go somewhere there and no, I'm not buying your sorry ass game. So no, because I don't support people like that.
Yeah,
forget
that.
That.
It's crazy how it's come full circle now, and now it's just we still cannot just accept the fact that hey, they've been right all this time. They're the only old school console developer still around that still makes games the same way, and they're successful. They're not having the layoffs. They're not having to cut content from games and having to do the always online stuff and any of those issues. None of that's happening.
The games that don't stay up. Like I feel bad, but like Star Wars Hunters, they talking about closing down this year. Yeah, like y'all just started.
Y'all just got
it.
We're talking about Sony not using physical media going forward, and Nintendo's over here like we still got carts, bro.
Yeah. Right.
Well, in their defense, when Activision makes a 310 gig game, I mean,
but at that point, this is where I say, just like I say on Twitter all the time, this development kit and this hardware is static. You may get minor updates for the SDK over time, right? But that target is that target. And there are games developed for it that work pretty well. What happened with yours?
Yep.
You can't blame the hardware.
Yeah, we can.
You know what's so wild about that is if Sony is going forward with, moving into a digital space away from physical, a lot of people's complaint is that, regardless of how powerful, the next system is for Nintendo or whatever, it ain't getting this and this and this because the hardware, the file size is too big and all this stuff.
Engine is can run.
and you're like, but wait a minute. So if Sony has another system, you expect that to be like 4 or 5 terabytes? Because you're talking about a game that could be anywhere from 300 to 400 gigabytes right there. And they're like, well, no, they'll probably, you probably download a piece of it and the rest of it be on cloud. And you'd be like, so you think Nintendo can't do the same?
Yeah. Oh, well,
their
infrastructure. I'm like, their infrastructure is the same as theirs. Back end,
it is
exact same. Everybody has a subscription to Amazon. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, they can only use the gigs that they have that come with the console. So if there's only 200 gigs for the console, let's say, and they're like, that ain't enough. That ain't enough for that. You're like, what happened to external stores? Are we just not?
Yeah.
It's
not a
always
thing, apparently.
it's always
They don't
funny.
exist.
It's always funny to hear the tech enthusiasts always try to come up with an excuse, especially when you're like, bruh, just say you don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna get to a point to where I'm gonna go to one of these posts and I'm gonna play stupid. I'm like, yo, educate me on what you're talking about. I'm gonna see how deep it goes.
It don't work. It don't work.
It don't work. I do it all the time.
Look, I've done it.
They
Shadow
turn the
has
question
done it.
around on you.
They has done it. It don't work. The first thing they're gonna say is, well, if you don't know, then I don't have to tell you. So
Right.
obviously
Wow.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Go look at Wikipedia. It'll teach you everything you need to know.
Wikipedia that can be edited by anyone at any point in time, at
Right.
any day.
It was funny because I actually asked one dude, I'm like, okay, so what are your credentials? Because he was trying to tell me, he tried to explain to me about game development. I'm like, okay, dude, so what's your IT credentials? It's been 3 weeks.
You ain't getting no answer. You already know what time it is.
It's been 3 weeks.
Ain't
I'm
gonna-
like,
ain't gonna know what's wrong.
well, he don't even understand about programming. I'm like, bro, if you don't understand about simple Visual Basic or C+ coding, we can't have no conversation, bro.
No, we got no
Right.
certification in eye test.
Yeah.
Eye test code.
Which is why I tell people all the time I have a severe problem with Digital Foundry. That's why I have a severe problem with them
Because
because
people use it.
they got
without-
people thinking that certain things are true that aren't true, and then they're taking people's money.
Oh, business wise, it's freaking genius. But
Yeah,
in the long run, it's a detriment to gaming.
Yeah.
Because it gets bad real fast. And like I tell people all the time, with anything, the bigger it gets, the more you're gonna leak in some bad apples.
Mhm.
It's a matter of time. Like
The
But
thing about
they need the fanboys. There's a reason why IGN's parent company bought them.
yeah.
yeah.
They need that. They need that engagement to go back and forth because otherwise they're not going to get the clicks.
No,
yeah.
they're not.
So
And
the
they'll
thing about Digital Foundry is they hands out millions and millions of master degrees in engineering a day, an hour. You watch one video, you are a master of everything that comes out. You know everything about everything. And by the way, everything that you say is apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So
So listen to this real quick because this is an example of the logic. Y'all probably saw this already, but I was very specific when I said this. I said explain why Take-Two's biggest franchise after NBA 2K won't appear on the successor to the third best-selling console of all time. Might be the best-selling console of all time overall by the end of this year.
Yeah.
no,
Explain to me-
PS2 is going to add 300 million more consoles.
100.
But why wouldn't you want to be there, right? Like you got a platform that's about to outsell the PS2, right? At least what its initial numbers were, 155 million. It's about to outsell the PS2. Why wouldn't you want their game there? Your best-selling game, other than NBA 2K. Why wouldn't you want that game there? Their response: why isn't GTA 5 on Switch?
Jesus.
The
This is
game
what
that
we're
you were
doing.
talking about?
That's what proves that's what proves that GTA 6 isn't coming.
That's backwards
If GTA
logic.
5 isn't on Switch, there's no reason to think GTA 6 will be.
That's
So-
backwards logic. Okay, so then why did the trilogy end up on the Switch? And if anybody says the trilogy has
Those are
performance
PS2
issues
ports.
on
That's exactly what he said.
anybody says the GTA trilogy has issues on the Switch, it has issues on every
everything,
single
yeah.
platform it's on.
Yeah,
That
It's
still
not
doesn't
just
excuse
Switch,
the
yeah.
So
like
if a game-
why is a 360 PS3 game not on the best selling console currently on the market?
I didn't
So
even
the-
get to that part yet. I'm like,
So the-
GTA 5 is a PS3 game.
So the
Well, you
logic
can run
was
it. And it ran
if
port-
you didn't get
it
the
ran
previous
so
game, it's not getting the new game.
I think y'all missing the point. Y'all are missing the point. The Switch obviously can't even run Dreamcast games. Okay. Y'all
I
missing
mean,
the
that's what
Apparently.
right, which is why we don't have Dreamcast on there or Game.
Excuse me while I go play Marvel.
Skyrim, we have Skyrim, we have Witcher 3, we've got what was it?
But do you have Power Stone? Do you have Ready to Rumble boxing? You don't.
You're about to get it with the collection, but it's like that's the crazy part because I'm like, if it didn't get GTA 5, why does that automatically cancel 6? It's like then that means Xbox should have never gotten a single Persona game.
No,
So
it's
Never.
I don't. Okay,
Those
I-
games don't
Nor
sell
any
well.
other Tales games, nor any RPG that comes out of Japan.
I'll go even further. Back in 1997, why did Final Fantasy 7 show up on PlayStation?
right? Because Final Fantasy
Because
is
1 through
on
6
Nintendo.
were on
Yeah.
Nintendo platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two easily sayable things for that. One, CDs had far more space for the price, and two, Sony paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And I'm very confident in saying that Sony paid for it because
Yeah,
we've
they did.
learned about Sony's practices thanks to the whole.
Activision situation.
Yeah.
We've learned Sony's practices. They
All
paid
Jim
for
Ryan
that.
had to do was shut up.
That's all he had to
That's all
do.
he had to do was shut up.
He spilled all beans.
And it wasn't just Square, it was Capcom, it was Atlas, it was
Yep.
all kind of publishers literally hemmed up by them
Bandai
in
Namco,
Japan.
all of them.
Wow.
They didn't have a
Wow.
problem with it. They didn't have a problem with it going to the DS or the handhelds. They had a problem with it coming to the console because
Yep.
3DS has Dead or Alive Dimensions.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 4.
Yep.
There's a version of Street Fighter 4 on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they didn't have a problem with
Which,
that.
They got
which tells me
fighters
that
over there.
Street Fighter 4 could have been on the Wii.
Yes, it could have. I would not be surprised if they actually had a version running on it.
Yeah.
I would not be.
I won't be
surprised.
surprised when a fan goes ahead and launches it at some point.
Yeah,
It'll come in due time. Just
but
wait.
Katetsu, I will say yes,
Mm.
depending on what the remaster is.
I got to go. No, I'm going with no on this one.
I think if we're talking strictly remaster, not remake,
Yeah,
but a
Mhm.
remaster, that
Remaster,
kind of makes sense.
but it
No.
depends on what it is. And
Yeah, it really depends on what it is. Now, a
'Cause-
remake means that they're putting effort into it.
Right.
Remaster, they just
Typically
upscale
speaking, though, like a remaster is usually it's effectively a demo.
Yeah.
Because you're converting an old project, right? To a new environment, new platform, new game engine, or what have you, right? So the goal is to test how that engine works with an existing property.
And that's where I was going with it because I don't think they
Yeah.
give a damn if you buy it or not. But I mean, of course,
Well,
they would
I'm
love.
pretty sure they
to.
care because they got to make some sort of money off of it.
Yeah.
I think they can use it as a gauge for like, can we do something new with this? Like some of them do that.
Yeah, because some do.
don't. Other ones don't. Some would just be like for instance, my favorite remaster is probably gonna get remastered again before the end of this day on podcast. Last of Us. So
Because to me, I feel like majority of the developers are going the route that Shadow's talking about. Like, let me test to see how the engine is going. Because in reality, if you as a developer come to me with a remaster of a game that really didn't even sell that well when it originally came out, and then you're coming to dangle in front of me of like, if you try it, I'll give you a new one. No, like, nah.
Well, to answer RJ's question, when we're talking about Monolith and Xenoblade, it's because they were fleshing out the story.
Yeah.
Like,
They were adding content, so it's a little bit different.
Like X, they've already said they haven't told us how big the content is because it's actually inside the game. So whatever they did is meshed in it. It's not separate.
That's why I would consider those remakes instead of remasters because you have extra stuff added to it.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just taking the
Graphics,
game, making it look prettier, making it potentially run a little smoother. You're actually adding to the game.
Yeah.
Right.
New UI, all kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
new systems.
And that was required for Xenoblade Chronicles X. There was no getting around that.
And Xenoblade 1, when you start thinking about Future Connected and all that stuff. So they when Monolith does it, they mean it. They're not doing it just to be like, this might be a good idea to make some money. Nah, they actually mean like you're gonna have to. We fleshing this story out some more. We had some ideas and we just thought of something else and we adding it. And we might as well throw it in our engine that actually looks great. So
yeah, Jazzy Jefferson, you right. Metroid Prime Remastered is
That's
actually
the only
a remake.
Yeah.
They called it
remake.
remastered, but it's a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I you know, there's I mean, whether they get these new games coming forward or they don't, I think the crazy part about it is GTA 6 is the barometer for some reason. Like
I
we
don't know
know
how that
It was
happened.
weird.
For
because
every
it's-
game.
it's
It's
because
the
it's
biggest
one of those
game yet.
things
Never been the barometer
because it's one of those games to where everybody has looked at GTA as like the definitive like test for a console. Like that's how they always said it. Even though there's games that look better than GTA on these other consoles. And yes, it's a big game in scope. It has a great story, but GTA really isn't all that great. Like it really isn't. Like it
No.
really isn't.
You
Once
just
you
get to be a criminal.
that's my thing. Like once you get that part out the way, like because realize when GTA went 3D, we hadn't really experienced anything like that for real. So it
Yeah.
was a new taste. But then once we got past that, it's like cool.
What else
Like,
did they do?
right?
Yeah.
Because I
And
mean,
now
the
you got
stories,
true crime and other games
Yeah.
with better
Dude,
combat
like-
systems, better driving systems.
They just
Yeah,
fizzled
True
out.
Crime was a way better.
it was a better
series
game.
than
Sleeping
GTA.
Dogs was a better one.
Yeah,
But
Sleeping
it's-
Dogs. Yeah.
But it has the name at that point in time.
Yeah.
So when we look at
Hell, Crackdown had
And brand
Yeah, they had
recognition,
some.
too. And
But-
it does
but-
have brand recognition. So
and that's where that's what I don't like about some of these games, because even Crisis was in that that realm for a minute. If it can run Crisis, it's a top-notch
Yeah.
device.
yeah.
But I'm like,
I-
like
I
okay.
would give that more to Crisis though, because there's a lot more going on in Crisis than
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is in GTA.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
I
why
can
people were
kinda
flipping out on the
understand.
Switch when they was like, "Oh, the Switch got Crisis." Like, oh my gosh, I was like, "This is still
Dude,
going on."
Crisis,
Like,
Yeah.
Crisis-
Right. Oh, it can run Crisis now. It's capable of running Crisis.
And
The
we're beyond
Wii U-
CPU bound stuff now
Wii U
because
Yeah.
stuff that runs on a GPU is infinitely faster than what those old CPUs were years ago, right? So like it's trivial for any system to run those games today. So it's
Mhm.
I don't even know why that was ever a thing. And even now when you're talking about GTA, I'm like, that's what you chose on PS3 to brag about instead of The Last of Us?
Yep.
Like,
Right.
Well, to be fair, they're about to remake Last of Us again. In
Right.
kill
Not-
someone?
Look,
True
they're
version.
having the same
edition.
problem Valve has. They can't get to the number 3.
No, they can't. They cannot get to that number 3. If they see the number 3, they break out in hives.
Itching.
I think moving forward that there's going to be a first party title that's going to show you what the Switch 2 can do. It's not going to be GTA 6.
I think it's
because
Metroid Prime or
my
whatever.
thing is we don't even know what GTA 6 really looks like, because
Right.
to think that all of
Those
that
are
what we saw with
renders.
gameplay,
Everything's been
crazy.
souped up.
Yeah,
Those
Yeah.
are just renders.
Crazy.
and that wasn't gameplay that they showed.
No.
They said
Oh,
it
that
was
was-
not.
That was just movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you saw a trailer and that's it.
And I mean, and it's funny to me too. Like, right, Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of the largest open world games.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
in history.
Don't
Mhm.
tell the Sony fan that.
I think honestly it was the largest until Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I think Just Cause 2 was the only game that was bigger than Xenoblade Chronicles X at the time.
That's it.
Just Cause 2 is just stupid. It's like the map is insanely large for some reason. I think it's because we're doing all the flying around and everything, they had to make it that big.
Mhm.
But Xenoblade Chronicles X is a very large open world game. So I don't even know why the discussion would even be had when you're talking about GTA, when you're coming from like GTA 4, which was way more like closeted kind of experience, and then GTA 5, which is like, yeah, it's open more, but there's jank also. So
Mhm.
like, what are we talking about when you have a seamless open world in 1 gig of RAM and you're talking about a PS3 game? Like I don't. And you're talking about the sequel to that, right? Well, hey, it's gonna maximize whatever's on PS5 and Series X, right? I'm like, those platforms are old.
Mhm.
Those platforms are really old.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like
That's
came out
2019 technology. So I don't know what you're suggesting, and you're saying that. I mean, I don't even know how you're suggesting that. We're talking about base switch now at this point, because
Mhm.
base switch, you just change the resolution and you can do it. So if you're talking about the Switch's successor, which is even more capable than that, and it's still probably going to have the same base resolution, you're talking like maybe 1080p,
Mhm.
at some point, or 900p, and then you upscale from there. Like, what are we talking about? If that'd be trivial for that platform.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't. I think that's the thing that they're not doing. They're assuming that Switch and a Switch successor are going to have to run a game in 4K.
And
And I'm
Which
like,
is ridiculous.
PS5
Well,
ain't even going to run this game in 4K.
Nah.
Yeah.
But
And
even-
that,
not native anymore.
Nah.
No.
But
No.
even then, this is how you know people don't really know much about when it comes down to coding, because a lot of stuff is being programmed in CISC, and Switch and presumably Switch 2 will run things in ARM, which is an advanced version of RISC.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't go from
Different
complicated
architecture.
to reduced and think it's just going to work.
And you have to see that on the CPU side differently too, because they're short. It's a shorter stages, so you have to recode your game for different results instead of being heavy branch and waiting or whatever. Now you have shorter branch and less waiting, so that means your code's got to be optimized and ready because the CPU waiting on you. So it's just one of those things, man. You can't blame the hardware if like Nintendo's like, well, this works just fine.
yeah.
That's why I said it's not on the machine. It comes down to how it's coded and what you do inside that code. If you take something, you can't take this cup and stick it in here. It don't work.
Yeah,
You have to do it the opposite way. You go just like this, take that, open it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. That's the concept. But no one gets that.
But I think, to me, honestly, I don't even think they're trying to dig that deep. Honestly, I feel like they're trying to pick up every excuse other than to say what it really is, and that's they're not enjoying what it is they paid for. Because I don't know anybody that is comfortable with saying, dang, I may have picked up a $500 mistake. Like I have to like I genuinely, I'm not having fun with these games. That's why I rather get on here and talk about it than to actually play the game. Because it is, when we talk about, like, let me go ahead and put this disclaimer. If you like to do trophy and achievement hunting, that's you, cool, fine, whatever. I don't have no issue with that. But I know people that will not play games unless it has some form of an achievement system. They need to be patted on the back and have a purpose of playing the game other than the gameplay itself. So when I look at most people that have finally come up out of that whirlwind, they're going backwards now. They're going back to older games. And like, okay, I'm having fun with these older ones. Give me more suggestions on what I can play on DS, 3DS, PS2, PS3. Like, because we're at that point to where, while yes, there are some good games that are coming out. Yes, games look beautiful and things of that nature. They don't have another way to argue the point of I'm not having fun, because now you sound crazy buying a PS5 Pro, a Series X, even a Switch, like, and you're not having fun with it. So now you're looking for a justifiable reason of saying, well, you know, I bought this and, you know, it runs 4K. So yeah, let me show it off. Let me show you that this 4K is running and it's got ray tracing, so I can feel justified in my purchase, because damn, this hurt. Like this, it really hurt. So, and that's why I feel like most of them are. So even when earlier when RJ was talking about the Steam Deck situation, they can't come to terms of, we put Steam Deck versus Switch, and the Switch still did what it did. The Steam Deck is cool. Like even me and Shadow said, like, it's cool, but it's got some asterisks next to it. So, but you can't afford to say, oh well, if Steam Deck's doing this, why can't Switch do this? And you realize that battery power is still the same. you don't really get to play what you think you get to play. You got to tweak, and you got to go down the low on a lot of stuff, on medium, a lot of stuff. Like, you can't just put that game on, go to ultra settings, and call it a day. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
So, but you can't. But for those that didn't get it on sale or get it refurbished, you got to take that $500 to $600 L, and that's just what it is, because you came talking, and some of you were not even in the Steam space. Like, you jumped into it out of gate because people hyped you up. So they hyped you up. So then you went and bought it, and you caught some games on these Steam sales, which I'd say is, Jesus, that thing right there is a cancer, but I still buy in. But it's one of those things.
Every year they give you.
But it's one of those things to where, at this point in social media, whether you're a true gamer or you just want to be in the gaming space, there is some form of validation you seek for. of like, hey guys, I'm playing the game you're playing. Let's communicate. Which on the surface, cool. We all connect based off of what we like. But if you're trying to force yourself into that realm, that's the problem. And you're paying $800+ I've even seen cats that do these videos of like, let me go buy all the old Nintendo consoles, and they go get themselves in debt on credit cards just to be a part of a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. So back to what Sandstorm was saying earlier, Switch 2 can really solve a lot of that. It really could. It can get people back into gaming in some shape, form, or fashion with whatever Nintendo produces. But then that starts with people admitting that Nintendo's not a console they want to like, but it's giving them what they like, so therefore they're going to purchase it.
There's a lot of videos where people admit it after the fact.
Yeah.
That's why all these games are so expensive. I just went looking for one not too long ago, $40 with no manual. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's
it. Be glad you ain't looking for Skies of Arcadia.
This is a game that's there's a lot of copies of it out. It's a first party game. There's a lot of copies of it out, and I'm like, I just want this one because I have another copy of it, but it's not for that platform. And I'm like, well, I just want this one, and they're like, yeah, we can't even. These got to be hidden behind glass. And I'm like, and I'm looking at all the PS2 games and the Xbox games that are just sitting out, and I'm like, why are none of the GameCube games? They're like, well, time they're here, they're gone, and for whatever reason, people were really into collecting them and stuff like that. So we have to hike the price up. So
I wonder why.
So, yeah,
it's usually whenever the war is over with, then people will go back and give the flowers after the fact.
Yep,
yeah,
which is crazy.
Because that's what happened with Dreamcast.
That's the kiddie system nobody liked.
Yeah, that's what happened with Dreamcast. That was happening with Dreamcast. That's what's happening with the Wii U. I've never seen so many people port beg in all my life.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting here like, bro, why you if you would have not listened to other people and used your own damn head and your own damn choices, you would have been fine. But no, you want to listen to everybody else and you want to fit in. So if they don't want to port a game over, they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's why I take my hat off. There are a handful, but I think there's like 2 in particular that I follow of channels. Their whole channel is centered around finding and showcasing hidden gems for every retro console right now. And it's games you probably never heard of. They were never, of course, in the magazines and getting reviewed like that. But they're showing you these hidden gems and they go into detail. It's not, oh, let me make a video of the top 20 that's sitting on IGN and say, these are the top games you should get. They're talking about games I've never heard of. And then when I go and play, I'm like, dang, how did I miss this? Like most of us, we're caught in the weeds of what the media presents, and that's just what you get. And then, if you're depending on your age, you can't look at the case and say, I want that, because that might be your only purchase for that month, if not that damn year with your parents. So it's
Depending.
Inherently, they know people are still this way, so that's why the media still exists the way that it does.
Yeah, right.
It's a sad state of affairs, but I mean, what else can you do other than point it out when you see it? So, like I said, most people a lot of people are admitting after the fact now. Well, I just don't know why. I just kind of like skipped out on the GameCube. I don't know why. It just somehow
because people were making fun of you. People were making fun of you for grabbing the purple lunchbox. That's what they were making fun of you. You got tired of being bullied. Got tired of being made fun of. So you started jumping on them like everybody else did, not knowing that was the best place to play Smash Brothers, and that was the best place for your multiplayer games. Was GameCube.
Learn how to stand up for yourself. Like this just if that's what you like and that's fun.
That's what you like. Yeah.
At one point, this entire hobby was trashed.
Yeah.
Like
it still is.
That's what you're a nerd. You're blah 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 blah. Like why are we creating subsections inside of that hobby that was being? Come on, man.
Right. Right.
It still is, because if you talk to certain podcasts, they'll claim that you were a child for having this hobby.
Oh yeah.
Trust me. I'm like, bro, it still ain't. I'm like, bro, okay. So what? The PS2, what? 155 million. So it's 336 million people in the US. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
So PlayStation 2, that's worldwide. Like Switch is at 140, 146 now.
Yeah.
That's worldwide. There's 336 million people in the US alone.
Yeah.
This hobby ain't as popping as you think. It ain't. Yes, has it gotten better in recent years? Yes, it has.
For sure.
It's grown since the 90s. I know that much. But it ain't still to the point where you ain't getting called out your name.
You could point out the hypocrisy though, because anytime somebody says you're a nerd for playing those, ask them what they're doing on this when they're not.
Yeah,
what's that? That's not social media. What you doing?
That's a whole other conversation in itself.
What you doing on that? It's like
you talking about me playing video games, but you're investing in somebody else's life and they career and the whole. Dude, that person don't know you.
Like you know what Kim Kardashian had for breakfast, but you don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Did y'all see the interview with Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah,
she said I can't, like, social media is not a thing. She's like, I tried one time and I went to somebody's page or somebody like a friend of a friend or whatever, went to their page and I looked up and 19 minutes passed. I was like, okay, yeah, that's big. That's a big tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, hey, it is what it is. All right, peeps, we're gonna call it a night because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. So, thank you for everybody joining us in the chat. We appreciate you. And like I said, we will be doing the direct live April 2nd. So we're on the East Coast. It's gonna be 9 o'clock in the morning. So we will be live though for it. Let's see, Andre, anything you want to bring up?
Just the pitch for Switch 2 stuff that I got coming. 2 videos so far for that. Since we're talking about an Xbox handheld, I do have a almost 4-year-old video talking about that concept, which honestly we should have seen that coming when Microsoft decided that they were going to make Windows 10 and 11 work with ARM. Should have seen that coming a mile away, but I still made that video almost 4 years ago and it's coming to fruition. So hey, Nostradamus here for gaming. People don't want to listen.
Also, he finally played his Kushnu butt on
if you keep insulting me with that name, I don't know who the SNK name. It's funny, but man, that's a horrible name.
That man's name is Marco Rodriguez. I don't know why they made
that name is horrible. Because they was trying to avoid his name sounded too much like Rocco Rodriguez, the kickboxer.
But it was funny because like every time he wins, they just says "but wins." I'm like, that is so messed up.
Wow.
Like you got beat by booty. You so bad, you got beat by booty. Like it makes him sound like he can't fight though. That's
it definitely does.
It makes him sound like he should be Dan tier.
Yeah,
he is far, far above Dan.
Yeah.
God, that name is horrible.
Too horrible. All right, Jack, what you got?
So kind of similar to Andre, I have more conversation pieces coming in with Xbox. Because really, I mean, that's gonna be the next thing after this whole Switch 2. I can't even say blow over. Whenever it dies down just a little bit,
when it simmers down,
simmers. Where I think Xbox is gonna find their way into genuinely advertising this handheld. Contrary to belief of the love that Steam Deck has received, as we saw number wise, it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. So when we look at what Xbox can provide, I think I want to go and do my take on that, and kind of similar to what Andre was saying with them making it ARM efficient, with these new Windows OSs. I think they're gonna find a way to make like how can I put it, like a branch of these Windows to kind of make it work a little bit better, because that's the biggest gripe with these Windows handhelds is Windows 11. Like that's the biggest issue with any review you watch. They'll tell you, hey, this is a great device, but Windows 11. So it's always
coding model is too big for what they're using.
Exactly.
Respect the name. Respect
because there's so much bloatware on these devices. You spend half your time deleting everything off of it and shutting stuff down and turning off OneCloud and OneDrive and everything else. So having that conversation is a thing. And then I think I'm gonna hold off on Switch 2 stuff until after our live stream, Because I think I'm out of the rumor expectation game. I'm gonna leave that to Nintendo Prime, dude. Like
It's
he's
done, huh? Oh
he's
man, he's so
waving
hard.
that flag proud, bro. Like I'm
Look,
not mad at.
I give it to him. That man is consistent.
He
He's
hustling.
consistent.
I'm not gonna hate on it.
No, far from it. He is consistent. So if I need to hear anything about some rumors, I'm gonna just pop up. I'm gonna skim. Oh, you said it last week, and I just turned it off. So it's just like
You just start the video. You see him do this right here.
Yep.
You know what's going on. He just do this.
Yeah.
Hands up.
I go to him for the rumors and stuff until that event happens. But when that event happens, I think that's where a lot more videos will pop up from my channel. Kind of going into, like I said, trying to do those skits and everything else. And like I said, now that the adultness died down a little bit, I can do a little bit more. But mainly music focus has kind of taken over for right now because it's a little bit easier to do. But yeah, other than that, man, keep watching everybody's channel here. Continue to support, and also for everybody that has those other ventures out there as well, continue to support those secondary ventures as well.
All right, Sandstorm.
So yesterday we had the Stormcast, of course. We looked at some trailers. Some trailers on Tony Hawk 3 and 4, as well as the new Tetris 99. And then we also looked up the Xenoblade Chronicles X trailer as well, and talked about that and our final thoughts on that, since it comes out in now 4 days, which is crazy. That we're basically there.
Yeah.
And then also too, we set up a bingo card for the Switch 2 presentation, which would be a whole lot of fun. I just got to figure that out. So just so y'all know, y'all probably gonna get one too. So I'll throw like the actual list in our Twitter, and then we can figure out if you want to add or change around anything for that. So yeah, it should be a good time.
Okay,
cool. Shadow.
I've been recently challenged with regards to making content by a former gamer, is a large member that's pretty popular now. So I got to do stuff. So the content will be made. So just be on the lookout, and it is what it is. I'll be done with it when I'm done with it, and it'll be relevant to everything going on right now. No rumors, none of that. We may talk tech a little bit, but yeah, if it's gonna be about rumor stuff, it'd be about what the rumor specs are. But they're pretty much concrete at this point. Right. So if I'm gonna do any Switch 2 rumor stuff, it's gonna be about that. Other than that, though, same old stuff. Just look around, subscribe to these guys, and I'll eventually start restreaming the podcast that we do together too, so the audience can expand. So that's pretty much it. You play games, have fun to impress other people.
All right, so peeps, just remember, look in the description, BiPOC Streamer Awards. Make sure you get your nominations in. You got until the 31st of March. We're halfway through there now. So please, if you can, please go by, log in, and show some support for your favorite content creators. Other than that, we will see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, people.
Peace.
Peace.